Hello class, welcome back to your online class. So according to your reduced ICSE syllabus, your chapter 8, that is 5 kingdom classification, you need to skip that chapter. Okay, we will be starting new chapter, that is chapter 9, economic importance of bacteria and fungi. How is bacteria and fungi useful to us in our everyday life? Okay, now before going through the importance of both of these, first let us understand the characteristics of both bacteria as well as fungi. In today's class we will be discussing about bacteria. Okay, so your bacteria, it's a prokaryotic organism. What do you mean by prokaryotic organism? Prokaryotic means their nucleus or genetic materials are not enclosed within a membrane. Okay, they are simply present in the cytoplasm. Okay, just like us as human being, our DNA is within a cell organelle called nucleus, but in case of bacteria, their genetic material or DNA is simply on the cytoplasm. So they are prokaryotic organism and they are unicellular. What do you mean by unicellular? Made out of single cell. Okay, bacteria, they are made up of only single cell. So bacteria is one of the most primitive organism. It's a prokaryotic, that means it does not have a it doesn't have a true nucleus. Okay, whatever the genetic material is present, it's simply present on the cytoplasm. It's unicellular, that means it's made up of only single cell. Now let us understand about the other characteristics of a bacteria. Now where are bacteria present? Now bacteria, imagine of any place you will find bacteria. Okay, bacteria is present in air, water, wind, even in hot springs. Okay, and any cold temperature, cold area also you can find bacteria. It is said that the number of bacteria present in our body outstand the number of human beings on the earth. That means whatever the number of bacteria is present in our body is more than that of a number of humans on the earth. So you can imagine bacteria is present everywhere you can think of. Okay, now because some of the bacteria are essential or useful to us also. Okay, like some of the bacteria which are present in intestine help in synthesizing different kind of vitamins such as vitamin C. Okay, and it also helps in keeping check of the harmful bacteria. It does not allow the harmful bacteria to grow. Some of the bacteria are useful to us, but there are some of the bacteria which are very much harmful to us and leads to many diseases. Okay, now next, coming to the size of the bacteria. Now bacteria in average is 2 micrometer long or 0.5 micrometer thick. Okay, in average. Okay, one of the smallest bacteria is your mycoplasma, and the largest bacteria is your Thiomargarita nambiensis. It's a name of the bacteria. So this one, Thiomargarita nambiensis, is also one of the largest prokaryotic organism present on the earth. So it's the largest bacteria. Okay, whereas your mycoplasma, it's a parasitic bacteria and it's one of the smallest bacteria present. Okay, now next, moving on to the shape of the bacteria. Now depending upon the shape of the bacteria, bacteria are of different types. Now let us learn about the different types of bacteria on the basis of its shape in detail. The basis of the shape of a bacteria can be of different types: cocci, bacilli, vibrio and spiral. Okay, now cocci are the spherical shaped bacteria. If you have one spherical shaped bacteria, you refer to as a cocci. If you have two spherical shaped bacteria staying together, it is referred to as a diplococci. Okay, and if bacteria takes the shape like a bunch of cocci bacteria, if it takes joins in such a manner that it looks like a bunch of grapes, then it's known as staphylococci. You can see this one here, so this one is a staphylococci. It's taking the shape like a bunch of grapes, and if your cocci are joined in such a manner that it's taking a shape of a chain, then it's known as streptococci. Okay, you can look at the example of different bacteria on the basis of whether they are conjoined into a two or into a bunch of grapes, or it's forming a chain. Okay, so another one is a bacilli. Bacilli are a rod shaped bacteria. Okay, now similarly, if it's taking a shape of a chain, it's known as streptobacilli. If it is taking a shape of a bunch of a grape, it is known as staphylobacilli. And if it is taking a shape only two bacilli are joined together, it's known as diplobacilli. Okay, now another one, moving on to your vibrios. Vibrios, these are comma shaped bacteria. Okay, it looks like a comma shape. Okay, now example is your Vibrio cholerae, which is the main agent for causing cholera. Okay, now another one is your spiral shaped bacteria. If there is only a single twist, it's known as spirilla, but if it is taking a shape like that of a corkscrew, fully twisted, then it is known as spirochaete. Okay, so on the basis of the shape of a bacteria, it can be majorly of 4 types: cocci, bacilli, vibrio and spirilla. Now on the basis of whether one bacteria is, whether one or more of it is forming a group, further it is divided into different types. Okay, so that's all about the types of bacteria on the basis of its shape. Next, moving on to the structure of a bacteria. Okay, now your bacterial cell, it's a single unicellular organism. Okay, now like it is a two membrane cell, so it has both a cell wall, okay, as well as your cell membrane. Okay, now inside the cell wall and cell membrane, other cells like plant cell and animal cell had a nucleus within which your chromosomes were present, right? But in case of bacterial cell, you have a bacterial chromosome which is simply diffused in the cytoplasm. Part of it might connect itself to the cell membrane. Okay, now some of the bacteria, they have other than the main genetic material, they have an extra chromosomal material that is referred to as a plasmid. Now this plasmid is the one which helps in undergoing sexual reproduction by the process of conjugation. Okay, and some of the bacteria, in order to survive in a extreme condition, have one more layer outside the cell wall that is referred to as a capsule. Okay, now this capsule helps them to withstand the adverse condition. Now bacteria, generally they cannot move on their own, they are either taken up by the water or wind. Okay, but there are certain bacteria which can move, so a movement on its own. Now those bacteria have a special structure called flagellum. Okay, it's a whip-like structure which helps them to move from one place to another. So bacteria with flagellum can move on their own, they can show the movement on their own. So this is the basic structure of a bacteria. Here we are generally taking a rod-shaped bacteria, so it's a basic structure. It has cell wall, cell membrane. Like other cell, it has cytoplasm. In cytoplasm it has non-living materials like glycogen granules, and some of the green pigment also might be present. Okay, so so when there was only two kingdom system, bacteria were placed under plant. Okay, but later on, since bacteria, they cannot undergo autotrophic nutrition, okay, and they do not have a chlorophyll, because of which they cannot undergo autotrophic nutrition. So when 5 kingdom classification was done, they had their own place. Okay, so they were omitted out of the plant kingdom. Okay, previously because of the presence of the cell wall, they were placed under plant kingdom. Okay, so this is the basic structure of a bacteria. Now next, let us move on to the nutritional portion of a bacteria. Coming to the nutrition of a bacteria, now since bacteria, they do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot undergo autotrophic nutrition. So bacteria, they show heterotrophic nutrition. Now under heterotrophic also, bacteria are parasitic and saprophytic. Now what is parasitic mean? Parasitic means this bacteria survive on the living host. Okay, example of parasitic bacteria are Mycoplasma. This kind of bacteria are present in your respiratory tract or in your urinary tract. Now another one is your saprophytic bacteria. Now saprophytic bacteria are those bacteria which depend upon dead materials or waste materials. Okay, so examples of saprophytic bacteria are your Pseudomonas and Flavobacterium. Now these bacteria are present in a sewage plant treatment. Sewage means any waste. So in order to decompose those waste, these bacteria are very much useful. Okay, now coming to the respiration. Now how do bacteria respire? Now most of the bacteria, they respire aerobically, that means in the presence of oxygen, but there are certain bacteria which cannot survive in the presence of oxygen. They respire anaerobically. Now those bacteria are anaerobic. Okay, now example of aerobic bacteria are your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. I guess you have heard about this name of this bacteria. This bacteria causes disease called tuberculosis. Okay, so this Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it is a aerobic bacteria. Okay, it's present in your respiratory tract, affecting your lungs area, right? So next is your anaerobic bacteria. The example of anaerobic bacteria, now this bacteria, they cannot survive under in the presence of oxygen. So example of it is your Escherichia coli and your Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani, it's a causative agent of tetanus. So these are the different bacteria on the basis of nutrition and your respiration. You just have to try to learn at least 2 or 3 examples of each one of these, like aerobic bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, of your saprophytic bacteria, parasitic bacteria. What do you mean by saprophytic bacteria? What do you mean by parasitic bacteria? Okay, now next we will be going through the reproduction. How do bacteria undergo reproduction? Now most of the bacteria undergo reproduction by the process of binary fission. Okay, by the process of binary fission. Now what happens in a binary fission? You have a bacterial cell here, you have a nucleus. So your bacterial cell is going to elongate. Along with the elongation of a bacterial cell, the DNA, that is genetic material which is present inside the bacterial cell, is going to duplicate. Okay, and then cleavage is going to occur. Okay, now further this cleavage extends and the bacteria, single bacteria, gets separated into 2 daughter cells. So this is referred to as binary fission. Single cell is dividing itself into 2 daughter cells. So this process is called binary fission. So most of the bacteria, they undergo binary fission, but there are certain bacteria which also show sexual reproduction by the process of conjugation, but they show a very simple sexual reproduction. Okay, so this bacteria sometimes show sexual reproduction also by the process of bacterial conjugation. You don't have to go in detail, I just want to show you how that happens. Okay, now like I told you, bacteria, they have extra chromosomal structure that is referred to as a plasmid. Okay, so what happens is 2 cell, let us refer the one having a plasmid as a donor cell and the one which lacks a plasmid as a recipient cell. So these 2 cells, donor and recipient, are connected with the help of a tube called conjugational tube. Okay, and then what happened, you can see that now these two bacteria have been joined together, and your plasmid is then been donated to the recipient. Okay, then further cleavage occurs and they two again get separated. So you can see the plasmid from one bacteria has been transferred to the another, but here they are coming, two bacteria, they are coming in close proximity with each other, and then the transfer is taking place. So this is a primitive sexual reproduction. It's not as sophisticated as seen in other organisms. Now some of the bacteria under an adverse condition, in order to sustain that adverse condition, like dryness or loss of vegetation, what do they do is, whatever the mass they had within them, they constrict it into a spherical ball like shape. Okay, now that spherical ball like shape is referred to as a spore. Now whenever the condition becomes favorable, now this spore wall breaks open and then bacteria is then emerged out and it grows like it used to. Okay, so bacteria, in order to sustain the favorable condition, they form spores also. So that's all about the characteristics of bacteria. In our next class, we will be dealing with how bacteria is useful in our everyday life.